Yeah, so first of all, thanks to everyone for coming to our session. The topic, digital data colonization. And what we want to achieve today is to give all of you an understanding what Sky Deutschland have been able to achieve and their efforts to push data through the whole company and transform things through the organization. Very happy to be joined today by not just one, but three people from Sky Deutschland. So first of all, Markus Hatzelmann, he's in charge of the customer web team, responsible for helping to provide digital solutions and marketing campaigns for the current customer base. So from emails to on-site targeting and optimization and all the reporting which goes with that. The next two gentlemen come from the web intelligence team at Sky Deutschland, so from the analytics side. First of all, Christoph Hell, his responsibility to help define KPIs, standards, processes, enable the team. And finally, Michael, who is the web analytics manager and has actually joined us before at Summit to present. So happy that he enjoyed the experience so much. He came back again. My name is Paul Wagatsky. I'm senior consultant working in Munich in Germany. And I've done many projects with these guys. So rather than just talk about Sky, we want to play a short video to explain what the company is all about for you guys.
The future of our species begins now.
It's time to light the lights.
Sky. We are driven by one thing. Our customers. Everything we do is about giving them the entertainment experience they want each and every time they tune in. By constantly delivering high-quality content, market-leading innovation, and world-class service, more and more people throughout Germany and Austria are enjoying Sky's great value entertainment every day.
We're on television in millions of homes.
At Sky, we're bringing better TV to a new generation. Generation Sky.
I'm impressed.
Super. So I'll start with you, Markus. Maybe you can give us a little bit more detail on the company and perhaps some of the innovations you've done over the last few years to give the folks here more context before we dive into the colonization.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. After this entertainment engagement insert in our little presentation, I'd now like to do some facts. As you've seen, we deal with 4.1 million customers. We offer a great content all over Germany and Austria, from Bundesliga rights, which is, of course, maybe the most important stuff we have in place. But we also have live sports, Champions League, Formula One, the greatest and best series you can see on television. Movies, of course, all in best HD quality. We have a lot of apps in place we built up over the years. You'll see this later on the roadmap or now. Where we started in the past as somehow classic on-box entertainment, and then we expanded massively in the growing online sector, brought up OTT platforms like Sky Go. Maybe this is the most important one for our customers. And we're just expanding and trying to get this great entertainment on every platform, on every device that is possible in the market to get the best experience for our customers, and they could have the choice with where to watch this, whenever they want to watch the whole stuff. So this is more or less our aim of our roadmap.
Cool. So lots of innovation, bringing lots of challenges as well. Christoph, we'll move over to you. Could you summarize what the key challenges are?
Sure. I think it's important to have a look at our status quo first. So when we started with Adobe Analytics about 5 years ago, the whole company, Sky, was, you could say, in a kind of transformation from the classical pay TV channel providing its services over only satellite and cable to this modern new media house with dynamic content, digital products, and multi-distribution. So basically, all of our key challenges are derived by the same given factors. which are probably the same factors you all have in your companies. So, for example, you have the grown organization you have to live with, meaning you have different stakeholders across different departments. For example, CRM, web sales, we have several editorial boards, we have social media, and they all have their own point of view and their own targets and requirements. And of course, we have lots of products and services which we have on different platforms and devices, and for that we have several data sources, both offline and online, and also sources for our content and our digital assets. And in the middle of all, in the center, is our customer. And when we talk about our customer, it's always both. We have prospect future customers and existing customers. So having a look at these factors, that's how we identify or how we define our key challenges.
Okay, so a mix of technical and business challenges. The businessman here in the group, I go back to you, Markus. Describe some of the business challenges you face.
I just would like to add up something that Christoph already mentioned. But first, I give a short overview, of course, how we try to start dealing with the challenges from the past now to the future. Like everybody in the room, pretty sure, we started in a static content world where websites were static. We had only different channels. We had a look at email channel reportings. We had a look at on-page behavior, but then tried to evolve the whole thing and dug more deeply into the different channels, clusterized them, tried to get more knowledge about our customers. We inserted some testing and multivariate ones and tried to expand our knowledge over this to the status quo we're in now. We started heavily in personalization, tried to get the data sources from the offline world more to the online world to get the best relevant content for our customers when they hit the site. We know or should know and present them the stuff they have within the subscription, the relevant content. If you're a football fan, we try to catch you with football, of course. It's an easy one. And then the target in the end where we want to evolve to, this is the predictivity. Maybe best describe that we would like to know before the customer hits the page what his intent is. So we could help him best case or in the best way. So handling over, there's just an overview about the different things we have to deal with. At first, we have a lot of online touch points. We have a real big social world around Sky with different Facebook channels. We are in Google+. We have Twitter accounts for our, especially for our sports broadcasting stuff. Of course, the standard stuff, desktop, mobile devices where we have to deal with. This is handing over to the device usage. But of course, also a lot of offline sources where we get a lot of data from, point of sales, we do mailings, we have a big telephony in the company, so advertising. So it's a maximum wide bandwidth of everything. And last but not least, the customers are hitting the page with a lot of intent or different intents. Best for me as a CRM guy is they have the intention to buy. That's the nice one. But of course, we also deal with information requests where they want to inform about a product before they can buy it, of course. They can watch stuff on our OTT platforms. And last, but maybe the most important one, if we talk about engagement, we want to help the customers. If a problem occurs with our product, we need to give them the help that is needed so they are satisfied after this contact.
Okay, so lots of customers come in, lots of different needs, trying to satisfy them. Can you take us maybe in more detail through one specific example then?
Give it a try. Hopefully it's working. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of data sources and want to give the best relevant content to our customers. So on the left side you see this awesome lot of data. I just highlighted 3 sources for that. It's our CRM system where we have the customer data. A lot of data is coming from analytics, of course, behavioral. And we have an ESP, means we just integrated the email service provider. That's not a big thing. But in the end, we have a cloud of different data where we have to match to one customer. And in the end, we want to play out or do the play out of different relevant pages, conversion pages for the customers. I highlighted an example for our HD offering. For instance, different target groups. I just take the 2 guys here. Michael is more into movie, so I would try to sell HD via movie content. The assets will be hitting this. Christoph is more the FC Bayern Munich fan, so I would
Let's not talk about that.
I would give it a try more with more football-focused or sports-focused stuff, maybe for the Champions League. So Bayern also target for that.
So, Michael, you've been very quiet there and very patient. But you're the guy who has to, from a technical perspective, solve these challenges and provide solutions. So, with an example from Adobe Analytics, Adobe Marketing Cloud, maybe you can talk us through what you've been doing in the last few months.
That given example shows really what Markus is demanding for, and we had the challenge to see how we can solve that with Adobe Analytics products and with implementation at all. And the central approach has been to identify the user, to make it unique across the platforms, across devices. That is the main challenge. And we are using really a Marketing Cloud Visitor ID service on all platforms. So that is the basis for the visitor identification across the sites. We also add customer ID to that visitor ID service. So you have an anonymized identifier, which when the user logs in, we can tie it together, and that's the glue for all that analytics stuff. And we can tie together all that data for that user on the platforms. And afterwards, we enrich these data with the CRM data or usage data, where we say, okay, that is someone who has used the Sky Go app or something like that from external data. So we are able to have really the possibility to track and to recognize user and doing some stuff of recognition and adding information for Markus that he can target the best experience ever. And one thing mentioned for that approach is quite according to the privacy regulations. So we don't want to have identified a single person, a single user, but we want to make grouping, we want to build user segments, and though that's quite approach, privacy issues are important for us.
Yeah, so if data privacy is watching, of course we have a hash customer ID.
So we saw a demo this morning at the keynote. You guys are doing it for real, using the solutions, so it's great to see. You touched on customer IDs, marketing cloud IDs, integrated solutions, getting all very technical. Maybe we can go through some of the technical challenges and the solutions you've been using in the last several months or over the last year. Before we do that, and I know Brad talked about this morning, just to cover core services. So every customer with one solution from the Marketing Cloud has access to the core services. Not going to cover them all now, but the next few examples we are going to touch upon the area of activation, so known to many as Dynamic Tag Manager, as well as profiles and audiences, and mobile as well is a massive topic. We saw on the innovation slide all of the different applications out there, multi-screen, and then we'll have a look into video analytics as well. So what is Dynamic Tag Manager? We've had some phenomenal growth over the last year with the number of customers using it. And for those who haven't started, it's an enabler, allows you to, first of all, capture data points, so across your web properties. So what are people doing? Are they, what products are they looking at? What journeys are they going on? Pass this information into analytics, as well as manage your tags. So from your different solutions, not just Adobe Marketing solutions like Adobe Target and Analytics, which you're using, but also any third-party tags which need to be managed. So back to you, Michael. Can you share what you guys have been doing with DTM activation and any lessons you've learned?
With activation, yeah. Why Adobe has every name for the new product every 2 weeks now? It's Adobe. We are faced with some challenges we want to solve by using DTM in the company. First is we have a lot of web platforms we have to manage with, and you have not only internal production, web development, and IT services, but also external agency, and you have that whole bunch of websites you have to manage and maintain. So that was one motivation for that. And the second one has been we want to be independent from IT. And everyone knows, some of you know, that you have that IT cycles where you can deploy something, where you cannot deploy because there's a code freeze for the web page, and so on services. So one of that reason has to be been time to market, and we all want also to be independent from web budgets, so from internet budget, IT budgets, and so we work the stuff want to make that stuff alone. But we have using DTM for triggering Adobe Analytics. We're using a concept named data layer. A data layer is something you store information on the web page. You can see, okay, if a user logs in, you can store all the data for the user in that data layer. You can also use information about media on the page and store it in them. And DTM is quite able to handle that data and making rules. For example, if a user logs in, you check the user data, you make a login event, or if the user has to proceed making an upgrade or buys a product, you add the product string, and so have a quite easy approach to do that.
Okay, and you guys have learned lots of tips and tricks and things people should use.
Lots of tips and tricks, and what important for us has been that our IT department is not able to handle that data layer either. So we have built in some library called the We Are Sky library, where we have web analytics stuff and methods where we can handle set information, quite semantic and quite natural speaking. So
okay, so if there are any folk out there responsible for that, be sure to speak to this man afterwards. He'll give you lots of tips. So thanks for that, Michael. Just briefly, mobile services, again, it was touched on this morning. The solution to be able to not only track your apps and measure them, but also develop them, provide push notifications, run A/B testing and optimization integrated with beacons as well. And this has been a big topic for you guys. And Christoph, maybe you can share what you've been doing there.
Of course, you've all have seen our innovation roadmap Markus presented earlier. We at Sky, we developed and launched dozens of apps during the last years. And you all know the fast-growing list of new devices doesn't make it easier for us to keep track with this mobile movement. Just for an example, our OTT VOD platform, Sky Online, is not only available on PC and Mac, it's also, of course, on Android and iOS devices, but as well as on the Samsung Smart TV. We are on the Xbox One. We launched an app for the Roku TV box, and I can show you there are more to come. So for us, it was really important to find an easy and fast implementation approach, which works for us, of course, but also for our internal and external agencies and partners, and especially on focus time to market and the insights, and having a look at the insights. By just integrating or adding the Adobe native app measurement library, we gained really great insights. But just looking at the basic metrics, the customer lifecycle metrics, and for example, return rate and section views. And
quite out of the box, and you get all the stuff you need for the first product.
Another topic, just the last technical one before we move on. Video, massive, the core.
It's all about television.
It's all about television.
Yes, television video and video engagement is important for us, the most important KPI for us. So we have implemented that, and quick some outcomes out of that, not going deeper in detail. But it shows on the one hand that we have a shift from the classical analog linear TV consumption to a non-linear. We have the Netflix and the stuff, and we have also the products for us. So that non-linear has become more and more important. And we have built up a project called Sky 360, where we have a 360 image about the user, and we can see what the user is doing on our platforms and video consumption. And that's really the way to customer intelligence, where you see, okay, customer is in the focus of all that entrance. And One example, if you see how House of Cards, for example, last season, most part of the people using it from mobile devices, not from linear streams, but from mobile devices.
Okay, so these are insights which go right up to the top of the organization, and technically...
Absolutely essential for the management, for decision making, but also for product development. Yeah.
Cool. So, thanks very much. Going beyond analytics, we've looked at the technical side of things, we've talked about processes, but what about the people part? It would be great, I think, for everyone here to understand how have you got all this data to the right people and got them motivated in order to use it throughout the organization?
Okay, when it comes to web analytics, we at Sky, we have a dual approach. We have analysts inside the departments, our digital colonies, what we call them, which is perfect because they know their business, they do the business analysis, they know the campaigns in office. And we have a central digital analytics unit, the web intelligence team, which is basically Michael and me. That's why we sometimes say the left and the right side of the brain, emotional, logical, good cop, bad cop.
Pinky in the brain.
Yeah. And by the way, we're hiring, so if someone wants to join our awesome team, welcome.
Shameless plug.
You have to use it. Now, back to the topic. What we are basically responsible for is to ensure implementation that works for all web analytics activities across the company, not only for CRM or web sales, for the whole company. We're kind of in-house consulting when it comes to digital analytics or optimization, and we evangelize and try to get management awareness on the topics.
You're like a prophet.
Yeah, you could say that, but I don't want to get too religious about that.
Well, we'll move on then. So Markus, you... to the colony. Describe from your perspective, you're not in the web analytics team, but you have your own department, and how have you guys managed to get all this data used properly?
In principle, we do more or less the same. If they evangelized us, we try to evangelize our senior management, give them the right data to do their decisions. Same for my team. I have a dedicated specialist, but all the team members, online marketeers, also customer self-care marketeers, use the tools, especially analytics, test and target, to build up or to have tools in the hand, have the right data in the hand to build up more creative solutions for our customers, to give, in the end, every time the right solution to the customer, the right content. And it's all about relevancy. If we hit this, then we did our job good. If not,
yeah. So I think it's an important point. You have someone who focuses on analytics, but the whole team is being trained and being encouraged to...
Yeah, they're trained on analytics and trained on test and target. And so we try to shift it, and everybody has to use the data to do his decisioning.
And there's something like a lighthouse. So they influence other departments to go deeper into data-driven approach. And for example, you're working with the marketing and business intelligence guys in a topic and getting the data of analytics, and they are interested in that and getting more data from the user behavior perspective. Or we have that editorial groups which have much success with some of their contents, originally focused by or caused by social media activities. So they are influencing each other. So we build colonies, they build sub-colonies. So
it's nearly the same. Just to mention it, we had this picture before about customer recognition where we tried to get the data from the back end to the front end. It's more or less the same. In here we try to spread the data over the organization and let the people work with the data get to know that we have data.
Yeah, and the different departments have to work together because you've got people hitting your web properties, your apps, and in some cases there could be a conflict. Is that a prospect? Is that a customer? Who should take priority?
Especially that's digital transformation, simply crossing the silos and
yes, we have these two circles between web sales and customer web. So we are constantly dealing with the anonymous visit, and sooner or later it's mine or the other guys.
All right, thanks. And it follows exactly what we've seen, and I know different colleagues have also covered this digital transformation. The push from the top as well to get more and more data used for decision making, but also in an automated way, integrated into other systems. And our way of trying to support this gap between what's required and the talent pool is to develop the tools in such a way. We've seen examples of the video reports, of the the mobile solutions, as well as DTM, is bridging that gap between needs and the skill set. So powerful tools, but simplified as much as possible. And trying to help shift everyone across to the right. So your analyst goes towards the data scientist point of view. The business users become more like analysts. They're not going to be analysts, but they have the tools there to do things with contribution analysis we saw in the demo this morning. Just one example of us trying to help there. So this is how we are trying to help. Maybe each of you could give everyone one great tip or piece of advice on what they can take away from today and try to do in their organization in order to achieve the same. We'll start with you, Christoph.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but it's really evangelize, evangelize, evangelize. It's so important to get management attention on that topic. So even if you're a digital prophet, you need a team around it. That's what we call, you have to colonize other departments. You need data-driven employees inside these departments, because it's a cross-silo game. It's not to stick to sports, not to religion. You're not playing golf, just hitting some reports and dashboards and that's it. It's really a team effort. So you have to get the digital first value in all departments across the company and also on the C-level.
And lead by example and share as many good case studies as you can. So Markus, one thing from you, from your perspective as the businessman.
Try it again. It's everything about data, data, data. We just highlighted this as turn the business users into data users. It sounds easy, maybe not that trivial. We try to do it with good data storytelling. It depends on how you present data, how you bring it to the C-level, fit their needs more or less, and then everybody's keen of the numbers. And then this revolution is starting again. They want more data. As they get more, they want even more. And so this enhances the creativity and also the capability of all the guys who are involved throughout the whole organization.
So you push enough that they start to pull?
Yeah.
Okay. And Michael, one tip from your web analytics perspective?
We see that the web analyst there is no human Swiss Army knife for web analytics anymore. And you have to build up a team of different specialized web analysts. For example, you have that techie guy, which is my person. At the moment, you have that more reporting guy and getting insights and getting best practices, what Christoph is doing. But you also need that storytelling guy, which brings that to the whole organization and evangelize the management.
And whenever there's a gap, you pick up the phone and call Adobe Consulting Germany and pull us
Every
in.
time we do that, yeah. But
Okay.
sometimes we get no answer.
But then we work on the answer.
We work on the answer together, yeah.
Not in the first step, maybe.
No.